Hello, my friends. Once upon a time in a world not so different from ours, there lived a little mouse. No, not just any mouse, mind you, but a tiny mouse with an extraordinary passion for cheese. This wasn't your ordinary cheddar or Gouda, mind you. This mouse was after the biggest, smelliest cheese in the entire universe. You see, our little hero had a rumbly tummy and a heart full of dreams. And his dreams were as big as the cheese he so adored. But here's the kicker. This mouse was so small that if he stood on his tippy toes and stretched out his tiny arms, he wouldn't reach higher than a crumb on a countertop. So how was he going to get his paws on the biggest cheese ever? Well, that's a tale for another time. Today we're diving into the story of how this brave little mouse went from a rumbling tummy to a cheesy victory. Let's get started. Now, our little mouse lived in a cozy hole under the floorboards of a house that smelled like fresh-baked bread and happiness. That is until the smell of cheese hit his little nose hairs. Then his world exploded with a cheesy aroma so pungent, so heavenly that he just had to investigate. He scurried through the walls, his whiskers twitching with excitement, and found himself in a pantry. Oh, my glob! What a sight it was! All kinds of cheeses were piled up, from Swiss to cheddar, Edam to camembert. But none of them were the cheese of his dreams. He needed something bigger, smellier. Just then, he heard a rumble in his tummy. It sounded like a miniature earthquake. And he knew it was time to take action. If he didn't find that cheese soon, he might just fall over from hunger. That's when he saw it, a hole in the wall, dark and mysterious, promising adventures untold. With a deep breath and a determined glint in his eye, the mouse decided to venture through it. The opening was so small that the mouse had to squeeze through head first. When he finally wriggled his way out, he found himself in a place unlike any he'd ever seen before. It was a massive underground labyrinth filled with cheese. As far as he could see, there were thousands of wheels of cheese stacked high, blocking his path. The air was thick with the smell of pure, cheesy heaven, but our little hero wasn't one to be intimidated. With a determined squeak, he set off on his quest, dodging between the massive cheese wheels. Suddenly out popped a pair of glowing eyes from behind a nearby wheel. Before the mouse could even squeak in surprise, a huge cat pounced out, blocking his path. The mouse froze in fear, his heart thumped like a drum solo. But he knew he couldn't stay frozen forever. With a burst of adrenaline, he darted around the cat, narrowly avoiding its sharp claws. The cat swiped at him, sending a shower of cheese crumbs flying, but missed. Its eyes flashed with annoyance as it realized it had been tricked. The mouse took this chance to dash forward, but his paws skidded on a patch of oil, and he tumbled head over heels, right into the welcoming paws of the cat. The mouse closed his eyes, bracing for the worst, but it never came. Instead, he found himself dangling from the cat's paws, inches away from a hungry beak. A large owl was perched above, its eyes gleaming with predatory glee. The cat had lured the mouse into this precarious position to make it an easy meal for the owl. But our little hero had other plans. With a quick flick of his tail, he managed to squirm free from the cat's grasp and landed on the owl's head. Startled by this unexpected turn of events, the owl flapped its wings, creating a mini whirlwind that sent the mouse tumbling through the air. But our little hero was quick on his feet and managed to land gracefully on top of a nearby cheese wheel. Taking a moment to catch his breath, the mouse surveyed the situation. He was still in the cheese maze, but now a new obstacle blocked his path. A raging river of molten cheese. The smell was divine, but crossing it seemed impossible. Just when he was about to turn back, defeated, he spotted something. A friendly beetle was paddling a leaf boat on the cheese river. Mustering all his strength, the mouse shouted, "Excuse me!" The beetle looked up from his paddling, startled by the sudden sound. "Oh, hello," he said, surprised to see a mouse talking to him. I'm sorry to bother you, but could you please help me cross the river? I need to get to the other side." The beetle hesitated. Helping a mouse sounded like a risky proposition, but seeing the determination in the mouse's eyes, he relented. "All right, hop in," he said, gesturing to the leaf boat. Together they set off across the river, the beetle paddling with strong strokes while the mouse held on tight to the leaf. They made it safely to the other side, and the mouse thanked the beetle profusely before dashing off to continue his quest. Finally, after what felt like hours upon hours, the mouse found himself standing before a gigantic wheel of cheese. It was colossal, ancient, and smelled like everything the mouse had ever dreamed of in a cheese. He circled it, taking in its immense size, feeling a sense of awe and accomplishment. With a final push, he managed to roll the cheese away, revealing a dark opening behind it. "This must be the way," he thought. As he ventured through the darkness, the air grew colder, the silence heavier. Then he saw it, a single ray of light piercing the gloom. Hope surged through him as he scurried towards it. When he finally reached the end of the tunnel, he found himself in a vast cavern. In the center, bathed in a soft glow, sat the largest wheel of cheese the mouse had ever laid his eyes on. It was a majestic sight. The cheese shimmered with an ethereal glow, its surface adorned with intricate patterns that seemed to shift and change like stars in the night sky. The smell was intoxicating, a symphony of aromas that danced on his tongue, promising a taste like no other. Overcome with emotion, the mouse took a moment to appreciate the beauty of the cheese, to bask in the glory of his accomplishment. He had faced countless obstacles, outsmarted cunning predators, and navigated treacherous mazes, all for this moment. Finally, he was before the cheese of his dreams. With trembling paws, the mouse reached out to touch it. The surface was smooth and firm, yet gave slightly under his touch, like velvet yielding to the gentlest caress. He took a deep breath, savoring the intoxicating aroma. And then he took a bite. The taste was an explosion on his palate, a crescendo of flavors that left him weak in the knees. It was cheesy heaven, a testament to the power of dreams and the courage to chase them. Tears welled up in the mouse's eyes as he realized that all his struggles, all his fears and uncertainties had been worth it. In that one glorious moment, he was the happiest mouse in the entire universe. As the mouse reveled in his cheesy triumph, he knew he would never forget this day. The day he, a tiny mouse with a big dream, conquered all odds and tasted the greatest cheese in the universe. His heart swelled with gratitude, not just for the cheese, but for the journey that had brought him here. He had learned that even the smallest creature, if filled with enough courage and determination, can achieve the seemingly impossible. And so, dear friends, let the tale of the little mouse be a reminder to us all that no dream is too big, no goal too far, and no obstacle too great to overcome. For within each of us lies a well of untapped potential, a reservoir of strength waiting to be unleashed. All we need is the courage to take the first step, the determination to keep going, and the unwavering belief in ourselves to know that we can achieve anything we set our minds to. Thank you for joining us on this adventure today. We hope you've enjoyed this delightful tale as much as we've loved bringing it to life. If you've been inspired by the story of the brave little mouse, we invite you to share your own tales of courage and determination in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, keep dreaming big, stay curious, and remember, the greatest adventures often begin with just a single step.